Thanks for dropping in. Back, you know, you didn't ask for it, and you're definitely not gonna want it, but we're gonna do a douche-isode. That's what's gonna happen. I'm drinking. Got something, yet another recommendation from the guy at the, some other guy at the Chevron station. Just seemed to like to recommend stuff. I kept going like, so have you had this? No. So this is something local to me out of Gilbert, Arizona from Flying Basset Brewing. It's called Flat Top Mulley. And yeah, it is a hoppy smash lager, S-M-A-S-H, so single malt, or single malt and single hop. That's what smash stands for. It's not bad. Yeah, it's solid all around beer. I've also got a monster size meat stick. We're talking 11 grams of protein. So if that sounds like something that you're into, you can also, you know, step over to the cupboard which runneth over with meat stick. Anyway, back for you know, a little traditional douche-isode. There's some records from the last few months. We'll call them new, although some of them are coming up on there. Actually, one of them is from last year, a release from last year. So it's coming up on its 1 year anniversary. Probably gonna get reissued for the 1 year anniversary. Probably in a deluxe edition. There are a couple reissues today, but not the normal. Well, it is the normal. Kind of not. They're not that old. They're reissues of not super old things. Not grandpa rock, more like dad rock, I guess. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. Jesus, this is a new release. Came out last month from, I think, from Oakland, Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, but I think Oakland group. This is their third LP. They go by the name Blues Lawyer. The album is called All in Good Time. It's on Dark Entries Records. It's kind of a, I think Blues Lawyer is kind of like kind of a dig at themselves, kind of an amateur, like about like, I don't know, some sort of amateurish, maybe. I don't know. Blues Lawyer, does that mean something? It's kind of a pop punk slash power pop slash indie pop. Somewhat, a little bit lo-fi maybe. It's got some buzzy, jangly guitars, sometimes veering into like Flying Nun type, you know, Flying Nun guitar rock. But then more like 90s power pop. Boy girl vocals. There's a couple points where it kind of reminds me of slightly, for a minute, for a second or two, of like the Runaways. There's a kind of that I hear maybe like a handful of times throughout the whole record. Songs are pretty short. Like some songs are very short. Yeah, here's the insert. It has the words on it. This one has definitely grown on, because I've had it for a while now, or, you know, around a month. With repeated listens, it's really grown on me quite a bit. This definitely falls into the highly recommended category. But I will say, I had to listen to it a few times for it to really kind of sink its teeth into me. So definitely rewards repeated listening. Also feels it has a little bit of the another Bay Area band, Umbrellas, from that talked about here a couple times. There's a little bit of that. It's not really the same, but it gives you some of that kind of those vibes. Blues Lawyer, All in Good Time. All right, next, this is the 20th LP in 28 years from the band called Jonestown Massacre. The album is called The Future is Your Past. It's on A Recordings, Anton's label. This is the inside of the gatefold. This is a single LP, but it comes in a gatefold. I will also put up the non-LP version, which has color, because on this version there is a, I don't know, six colored pencils in there. This are just stuck on. This would be easy to pull off, but I've left it on because you may not know, but I can't stand this kind of thing. This is just like, it doesn't fit in the sleeve right. What happens if I take it off? But anyway, there's these colored pencils, and so you're supposed to, I think you're supposed to take this, when you go to Denny's, you give this to your kids, and you let them color this. They can color this stuff. The jacket is very much, feels like it would take to the color very well. It's like meant to be colored. Oh, I didn't realize I had this plastic in here. Yeah, so there's the inside where you could also, man, you could be coloring for days. Yeah, Brian Jonestown Massacre, 20th LP in 28 years. This one kind of, again, falls in line with albums that have come out recently from Brian Jonestown Massacre. I think this one and the last one were also recorded at the same time. 60s psychedelic rock mixed with kind of more modern drone. Again, very much in the wheelhouse of what they've been doing recently. Not, they have been doing some more experimental stuff. This is more back in the 60s saddle. Yeah. If you dig that version of Brian Jonestown Massacre, this one is going to serve you really well. I feel like if you haven't been sold by the Brian Jonestown Massacre at this point, this will not sell you either. I think this is really good if you're into, that area or that region of the Brian Jonestown Massacre catalog. Yeah, it's worth checking out. This is the inner sleeve, and I think it's just it's like uncolored vinyl. It's an absence of color. Yeah. The future is your past. Thanks to those of you who stopped by and checked out my unintended Anna artist spotlight video. I had intended to give this album the coveted Douche seal of approval, but I didn't do it in that video. So that's what this is. This is me awarding this album the Douche seal of approval. Next, this is a reissue of an album that it's a recent reissue. I think it just came out of an album that originally came out as CD only, I believe, in the year 2007. So this is the first time on vinyl. Has an extra side of material. Well, I guess 3 bonus tracks on side D. So it's a double LP. It's kind of a deluxe reissue. We could call it the 15th anniversary reissue, even though it's 16 years old, right? Yeah, so this is them. I'm gonna say a lot of things wrong on this one. I'm gonna say Rumskib, just because I think that's probably the way an idiot American like myself would say this. It might be Rumskib, or I'm sure it's dead wrong, but that's the name. This is like shoegaze, synth, electro, new wave duo. It's a 2-piece. It's Keith Canisius, which I'm also probably saying his name wrong. He does guitar, bass, vocals, and some processing. Well, I think processing, like producer. And then I'm gonna say Tina, Tine, Louise, who is the primary vocalist. She does most of the lead vocals, most of the vocals in general. It's also co-produced by, I'm gonna say, Jonas Monk, who I think a lot of people would know because he owns El Paraiso Records. Yeah, he also plays on here. He's also in Casa Sui, I think. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. He's in the London Odense Ensemble. I like those records. That's more jazz. Anyway, album from 2007. This is the first time on vinyl. I think you can see the My Bloody Valentine. My Bloody Valentine influences. You hear My Bloody Valentine. You hear Curve. There's a cover of the Slow Dive song Shine. That's one of the extra tracks. Something has over time become something of a cult, or earned something of a cult following. This album has. This is the only record they released. Dropped in 2007, and I don't think we're together for very long thereafter. I feel like fans of like Sweet Trip are probably all over something like this. Loud, dense shoegaze with a lot of electronics. But then there's also, this is a pretty, I mean, it's not that long. It's 12 tracks in the original record, but it feels like it goes through a variety of styles. There's some more, what I would just say is more tips of the cap to 80s. A lot of new wave. This is apparently a limited edition of 300, but there's of this version. I'll show you one of the records because it's not that fancy. It's kind of supposed to be smoky. It actually also looks scratched, but you know, what are you gonna do, I guess. Yeah, there it is. So am I saying Rumskib or Rumskib? I don't know. It's the kind of thing where you probably know pretty quick if you need to check this out if you haven't already. But it's definitely worth it if you think that you might like this. Next up, this is band from Hong Kong that we talked about maybe a couple years ago when they released their debut LP, which I think is terrific. This is a reissue of their debut release, which was an EP that's now been expanded into a full LP. Name of the band is Lucid Express, and this release is called Floret, I'm gonna say. It's on Kanine Records. Yeah, so first time on vinyl, and the original release, they had not changed their name to Lucid Express. At that time, they were called Thud. Yeah, so I believe that the original release, which was a CD, had 5 tracks. Had the 4 tracks on side A, and then the Max Bloom remix of one of the tracks. So the remixes are all done by international shoegaze artists. Elliot Frazier does one of the remixes from Ringo Death Star. The Max Bloom remix, Max Bloom calls himself Dad Gaze, but I'm thinking he might actually be Grandpa Gaze. He might be beyond Dad Gaze and into Grandpa Gaze. But anyway, there's also, yeah, there's a variety of remixes, and the remixes are actually good. Like they're all good remixes. Anyway, so ethereal, dream pop, Cocteau Twins influence for one of many of the kinds of influences that you'll hear, but also with like a kind of churning synth undertone. The vocals are almost like an instrument. There's the print in our sleeve. Definitely, if you did pick up the debut LP and you really liked it, this is worth getting. If you aren't familiar with that debut LP, I don't know if I misspoke there, but the 2021 album, that's where you want to go. Here's the vinyl. Lucid Express. Floret. Alright, next, this is an album that came out last year in 2022 on Fuzz Club Records. This is a New York City band called the Vacant Lots, and the album is called Closure. This is their 4th LP. It's kind of electro post-punk synth pop. It's a duo. They've previously worked with like Alan Vega from Suicide, Sonic Boom, Anton from Brian Jonestown Massacre. Primarily like dark synth pop, lots of Suicide and 80s new wave synth goth influences. Yeah, this is a very short record. This is, I think, less than, it's considered an LP, spins at 45 RPM, there's 8 songs. It's definitely under 30 minutes. I think a fair bit under 30 minutes. Yeah, here's the printed inner sleeve. and this one is somewhat fancy pants vinyl. The Vacant Lots Closure. So once again, I flashed some vinyl records on the screen and added almost nothing of interest to the conversation. It's really starting to wonder what the point of all this is. But anyway, maybe you found some of this useful. If not, you know, could be worse. Could be a lot worse. Cheers, and see you another time. Take care.